Thank you very much for coming today, guys. I'm JP, CEO, co-founder of Renewabl. And today I'm going to start by stating the obvious. Basically, interestingly as well, we all know how the world is super hungry for data. Basically, right now, because of that hunger for data, energy demand is increasing very, very quickly at a ridiculous pace. By 2026, data center, basically the demand for data center is going to reach 1,000 terawatt hours, basically like incorporating Sweden or Germany into the grid. And we're talking about next year. By 2027, AI is going to be doubling its power needs every 100 days. That means every basically 3 months, it's going to double its requirement for power. This is going to very quickly outpace capacity in many, many countries. By 2030, if we want to stay on track to keep below 1.5 degrees, we really, really need to get onto renewables because 2/3 of that power demand will have to come from renewables. Actually, there's another statistic. The International Energy Agency predicts that by 2050, demand for energy is going to increase 50% of the demand today. 50% by 2050. So, if you want to learn a little bit more, we did a really a deep dive with all these companies on the subject of increased energy demand in the world and how that's going to affect. At Renewabl, we build a very sophisticated platform focused on changing the status quo. Basically, 60% of all the emissions from energy come from the corporate sector. This is our strong focus right now. We allow corporates to buy the most impactful, the most traceable, the most local, and cost-efficient energy in the market. We do this by creating a very sophisticated platform that looks at every single energy asset, like wind, solar, etc., and gives these corporates options. But don't take my word for it. We work with some of the largest, most forward-thinking corporates around the world that are looking to buy more impactfully and are looking to buy energy on an hourly basis. So, I'm just going to give you an example of why our platform is the next stage of impactful procurement and why it's important to understand hourly matching is the future. This is an example of a consumption profile of a 24/7 profile, right? So an industrial and commercial customer or a client or a corporate or a data center that consumes constantly throughout the year. Now, most companies right now, the status quo is that they buy or they offset this by buying certificates or buying PPAs or whatever on an annualized basis. But this is not the full picture. There are definitely certain things that these corporates need to take into consideration. First one is that the wind doesn't blow constantly, so a wind profile doesn't really match that. The sun doesn't always shine, especially in the UK, obviously. The energy needs of every corporate do not align with the production of renewable energy on an hourly basis. Also, a lot of corporates buy energy or certificates from countries like Norway, where they actually have abundance of cheap certificates. If you're based in Spain, you're actually not based in Norway. You need to buy certificates more locally. And finally, your consumption profile is not constant. It changes on an hourly basis. And actually, it looks more like this. So you'll have excess solar certificates in certain hours. You have some gaps here. You can incorporate your PPAs. You can incorporate your green tariffs, etc., etc. And actually, what you actually thought your profile looks like that actually looks like this. So most companies that claim to be 100% renewable are not. At Renewabl, we created a platform that tracks the impact of every single contract, every single wind and solar asset that is plugged into the platform. We connect directly with smart meters. We look at the carbon-free energy score, basically take this as a decarbonization index of the industry. We do bespoke reporting that adhere to different initiatives like CDP RE100, SBTi. Currently, the market is voluntary, but is moving towards a requirement to report your energy on an hourly basis. Also, it's going to become a requirement to know exactly the impact of every single contract that you buy as a corporate, right? Where it comes from, what impact it has, does it have any additionality or not? Also, through the platform, you as a corporate can buy and tender to contract the most traceable, local, and cost-efficient energy in Europe and the UK. We have two products, Renewable Track, that helps companies measure their impact through the existing contracts and understand more about their CFE score, how well matched they are to the existing contracts on an hourly basis, and what is the impact of those specific contracts. And Renewable Trade, where actually they can go out and source the most local, traceable, and hourly energy in the market. This is the next stage of impactful procurement. It's not going to be a very optional solution. It's going to be a requirement from now until 2030. Us, as a startup, we're quite young, so 2 and a bit years, and despite the fact that we've been commercially active for 6-ish months, we've already have 2 terawatt-hours of supply from 40-plus hourly projects. So we're basically tracking the hourly production of these projects on an hourly basis. We've won 5 leading awards, and we're part of 6 leading accelerator programs as well. We're working very closely with initiatives like RE100 and their 410 members, because it's going to be now a requirement for those members to disclose the hourly consumption and the hourly impact of their contracts. That's it from me. Thank you very much. Any questions will be in booth S36. Thank you.